greetings from the apocalypse. So in today's video, I'm going to show you everything you need to know about how to get the height right when you're setting a cabochon stone. There's a lot that goes into it, more than you might think.
So here's Beth's gorgeous ring out of the tumbler, looking all sexy. Oh, looks so gorgeous. So basically she's made an inner bezel to hold her stone up. We'll probably need to sand it down a little bit, but we'll check the height in a little bit. So our next step, now that she's tumbled, is we're going to anneal the top of the bezel and pickle it so that it's soft for setting. We'll put the jet set in there, and then we'll get serious about getting the height, exactly right for our inner bezel. I mean, look at this. I love it. Love. Ready, set, go. I mean, look at the ridiculous gorgeousness.
It doesn't say
that is that.
It doesn't say
Yes. Guest cinematographer, Beth Sugarman. Thank you. Oh my God, so beautiful.
For the beer.
And the tequila.
And the tequila.
Okay, all right, so go ahead and anneal the bezel and we'll go on. So now Beth's beautiful ring is all encased in sort of oogie looking jet set, but it's good because it's all gonna keep it nice and protected and everything while we set. So she got her inner bezel in there and the nice cabochon is in there, but I think we need to sand the inner bezel down a little bit. So take a look how it looks from the side. It's not that it looks bad, but if I kind of pull this out and you take a look what's inside, you see that? I think we need just a little more stone down inside the bezel. Usually you want approximately a third when you're talking about a cabochon. So I'm gonna have Beth sand it down and then we'll check in on it again. All right, we're getting ready to set. So we got a beautiful shiny back sheet in there and our inner bezel is sanded down. And then I'm gonna put the stone in and I'm gonna talk for a minute about just sort of the concepts about how you choose the right height, because it's tricky because every stone's a little bit different. Okay, so we're going to be setting this ring today, very exciting, and we've been talking about how tricky it is to figure out the right height. And I remember Sheila and I were talking about this a few weeks ago where she's like, I never feel like I know the right height. I always, like, every time I have to have you look. And the reason for that is that every stone is a little different. So even though there are general principles that you follow, with a cabochon is generally considered 1/3 in, 2/3 out, but that's really just a general guideline. With each stone, there are individual things you have to consider. So for this one, for example,
Let me make sure you have it in right. There's like a damage that I want in this direction.
that is correct. Okay, that's it right there. Okay.
Not a damage, an inclusion or whatever.
Okay, so, and then a stone like this that is high like that, it has a lot of weight to it. We actually sanded the inner bezel down ever so slightly lower than we would have. Like if this was a much flatter stone, we could have done with a little less. So if you're getting a good view there, I'm just going to gently pull it out so you can see how much is down in there. So there's a good amount of slope on this stone, which means you don't need a huge amount of bezel, in the sense that a stone that's very straight up and down, you need to set lower in there so it has enough to hold it. Stone like this doesn't really need as much, but because of that nice high dome, I'm like, we're gonna take it down a little bit more. So that's the height that we decided on. It's just important to understand each stone is its own universe. And you really have to look at it and think about all the aspects and what's best for it. It's always a little bit of a judgment call. And that's why setting is hard, you know what I mean? And people are like, I don't know, is it the right height? It's not the kind of thing where there can be just like one answer. Like the height is X and you just go, oh great, and from now on, that's what I do. There's always little things to consider. So that all being said, I think this is the right height. It's all beautiful. We've got this all protected. If it weren't, we would cover it up with some tape. So basically we're ready to set.